Soul Fantasy Show, Soul Fan Show. Hey, it's the Soul Fantasy Show live for April 23rd, 2020, going over the EU Masters, LOL, LPL, LCL, whatever. We're going to go over it's a 6-game slate: BTXL versus Go, YDM versus GL, Shy Lake Evolution versus Team Singularity, the MSR versus Kick, Fantastic Rising versus Energy Pod Wizards, and Mouse Sports versus eSella. All right, here's some notes for today. The first game of the EU Masters Day 2 begins with BTXL taking on Go. BTXL comes into the game as a slight underdog, but the good news for LOL DFS players is that they've run on the same 5 players this entire split. So I feel comfortable presuming no surprises. BTXL went 14-0 in the regular season and went up 2-0 over RNC.R in the finals before losing the series 2-3. This team features only one player that had higher than 70% kill percentage in veteran K Singh. This should be the closest match of the day, and if BTXL wins, I like Deadly with his 5.62 kills per game. Fortunately for us, Go have also played the same 5 starters the entire split, which they ended up taking third in the regular season before winning the playoffs. In terms of experience, Go has fewer players with previous LEC experience, but they are in a tournament with a few LEC organizations, including this matchup, so they should have a ton to fight for. I like Blue Razor the most from Go, as the juggler has an exponential 77.6 KP, which is nice if Go procures many kills. We have the first interesting roster condemn, as YDN has played 6 individual over a few different positions. Gabo, Tabasco, and Kospect have played every game this split, and at the same position, Ends has played most games this split, with most coming as an ADC, but does have one game he flexed mid, and the 4 games he didn't play this split were entirely of the finals. Phantoms has played every game this split, but has a 5 total games. Ends didn't play ADC, but the mid every other game. Akamas played only 4 games this split at mid, but they were the finals, which they won. So the YDN continued that roster. For the LOL DFS purposes, I actually look at Gabo as the top laner, has played every contest, has averaged over 5 kills per contest. GL have not provided any shocks with this roster, and they run out of the same 5 each game of the split. Despite coming in the playoffs, GL are favored as this match, and I believe a lot of this has to do with the ADC. Hadron and the veteran ADC had tons of LEC experience, leads the team with almost a nice 68.9 KP. That should be an excellent DFS play if GL managed to exceed their almost 15 kills per contest. SO4E looked pretty bad in their first game against MRS, but fortunately they were facing SNG team that died 36 times and 2K Kick. And I finally believe SO4E are a most talented team than Kick. The worry here is if SO4E are capable of flexing on SNG in the same manner that Kick did, presuming SNG came out and lay another dud. I have Ceteris from SO4E as the most kills on the team, and if SO4E drops another 30+ kill game on SNG, it should bode well for his LOL DFS chances. SNG looked bad in their first game. It'll be interesting to see if the position swaps or subs come out, as the team has 6 players with at least 7 games played with this split. It's difficult to see how SNG manages to come out of this looking like DFS darlings, as even in their win over SO4E, MRS didn't actually light up the scoreboard. MRS is coming off a nice clean win over SO4E in their first game of the EU Masters, and now they're facing off a play-in team that just smoked SNG. MRS looked calculated and precise most of the game against SO4E, which has seemed to be a trend as the team averages over 14 kills per game. This could be a stylistic game, and if MRS got sucked into a high kill game and SNG, I like Zyko. With the team, high KP and kills per game, I didn't expect Kick to light the world on fire every game, especially as they had 46 kills in their 2-1 series win over Mad Lions Madrid, which is better team than SNG. I could see them being more popular than I would like, especially as the pretty big dogs, but I still believe they're rosterable. The person I find most rosterable will be Charlatan, as the JNG can fly around the map making plays, and if Kick do win this game, he'll need to be the one that Kick started. In their first game against ESB, FNC.R came out and put on a clinic, scoring 27 kills in over 27 minutes. This team had a talent to maintain a high kill total, as they averaged 18.58 kills per contest in their 21 regular season playoff games. I see FNC.R able to firmly take down Wiz, and I really like X Matty as someone that could continue his good form from their first game. Wiz played Mouse a lot closer than I believe many people would have imagined. I think this is due to the Mount not being a particularly bloodthirsty team. With Wiz showed they can hang for most of the game. The Wiz team isn't one of the average a ton of kills per contest, as evidenced by their 58 and 4 games in this final victory in the league, in their league, and their 12.81 kills total per game for the season. I don't really find a ton interesting here, as I am taking stabs. It's probably just the team aspect I like, and I don't believe any victory they acquire will be very bloody. Maus are likely to be favored against the teams most in this tournament, but I will always worry about their LOL DFS upside. Fortunately for them, and potentially us, they face an ESB team that just got smacked around by FNC.R. I don't necessarily believe Maus will push the tempo as much as FNC.R did, but it's ESB and a team that don't mind opting into the track and to meet much as Wiz, so the potential is there. Nobody on the Mouse team has a 70% KP, which is interesting, so I'll look mostly at Lider, who leads the team in kills per game instead when I'm looking at Mouse stacks. The final team to look at is an interesting one in ESB. This team is one of the biggest underdogs on the slate, and they should be. If ESB are to score the massive upset, I'd likely be through Mouse. It would likely be through Mouse making one big mistake, and ESB just kind of closing it out rather than ESB running it up and down lanes in a kill fest. If I were to consider any ESB for the slate, then first I would think about Jack K, and as the JNG, but has a team high KP and is just behind the ADC Danny in kills per game. All right, here are the sole favorite LOL DFS plays. ADC-X Matty. There are a good number of sizable favorites, but the one I trust most to get the kills is FNC.R, obviously. If they maintain their level from the first game, X Matty could put up another monster game. The mid, Certus. One theme with big favor, Certus is another really expensive player who is facing off against a team that just died 36 times. SO4E lost their first game, and I think they'll look to step up the gas in getting their first win. The ADC is XICO. If MRS gets stuck into a higher kill game with kicker, then I believe they will win way more often than not. If this were to occur, Zyko would likely be the biggest benefactor. Favorite LOL DFS contrarian plays. The top is Send OO. I find it interesting that BTXL are dogs in this matchup. As the team went undefeated in their regular season, I think they have a great chance to beating Go. And as such, if I can get to a top laner then averages over 4 kills per game, then sign me up. It's the Soul Fan Show.